Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hello friends, this is Vijay. Welcome to ForumIAS Hindu Daily. In our today's news discussion, we will be discussing the 5 topics. The first one is related to the ambitious plan of India with respect to the semiconductors. Then the second one is related to the foreign trade policy. The government was swifter note for the exporters. Then the third one is about the Australia and its lithium reserve. Then the fourth one, it is all about the certain. So recently the government stated that it is having a plan to keep the certain under the exceptions of the RTI. Then the last one is about the UK to join the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Treaty. Okay. So these are all the 5 topics we are going to discuss today. Without any delay, let us have a brief look on the article what we are going to discuss today. This is the first one. India Semiconductor Mission might need a compass. It came in the editorial page. Then this is the second one. It came in the front page of the Hindu. The government was swifter not for exporters. Then this is the third one. Australia 6 diversified market for lithium exports. Then this is the fourth one. Certain may be exception from giving information under RTI Act. Then this is the last one. UK to join Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Treaty. So here, these are the 2 topics. They are having huge significance for mains. And these 3 topics, they are having major significance from the aspect of prelims. Okay, so this is the article. Kindly go through this article. And semiconductor chips, you might have known, they are the lifeblood of the modern information age. They enable the electronic products to compute and control actions that simplify our lives. These semiconductor chips are of the driving engines for the information and communication technologies. And you might have known, they are one of the ultimate reasons for the current flattening of the world. You all might have known they are used in critical infrastructures such as communications, power transmissions, automobiles, mobiles, digital gadgets, etc. So that's what they are having huge implications for national security also. And guys, the development of semiconductor and display ecosystem will have a multiplier effect across different sectors of the economy with a deeper integration into the global value chain. So the article, it came in the newspaper. It is related to the United States and India recently concluded a memorandum of understanding in March 2023 to ensure that subsidies by each country do not come in the way of India's semiconductor dreams, because India is having ambitious plan to expand its production base of semiconductor chips. So that's for US and India, they entered into this MOU. And also in today's world, you might have known the demand for chips is very high. Also, the production capacity of chips is way below the demand in the pandemic time, especially in the year of 2020 to 2021, 22. You might have known the waiting period for the automobiles in India is around 6 months to 1 year. It is all because of the very high demand for the silicon chips. Okay, so because in dashboards, then in electronic braking circuits, in these segments and all, the silicon chips have been playing a vital role. So that's for the demand of the chips, it led to the waiting period of 6 months to 1 year in the time of pandemic. And certain countries have been dominating the semiconductor chips manufacturing landscape, and they are the United States, Taiwan, then South Korea, then Japan and Netherlands. So these are all the few countries they are dominating in the landscape of silicon chips. In these days, Germany is also becoming an emerging producer of ICTs. Now let us discuss why this article came up in the newspaper. And then the first one is related to the MOU. Okay, so this is the main reason. And the second one, India is having major plans to expand its production base. So these are all the 2 things which made this article to come in today's newspaper. And firstly, let us discuss about the India-US MOU. It ensures that each country, okay, these 2 countries, they are having several plans to expand their production capacity, and they are also giving major subsidies. So these subsidies, it should not hurt the ambitious dream of India to become a king in the semiconductor production capacity. Okay, so for India, with the lithium reserves in J&K, we are almost self-reliant in lithium, right? So to attain the Atmanirbhar, government plans to expand its chips production base by establishing 300 nm wafer fabrication plant. Okay, it cost around 10 billion. Okay, so for which we are seeking investment from the major semiconductor chips producer Intel. You might have known Intel because each and every processor in the laptop or in the desktop, it will be using the Intel. So the Intel is very popular, and the Intel is the key company which is behind the idea of semiconductor chips, for which we are seeking lot of investments. Okay, but Intel, they didn't show any willingness to coordinate with India, because Intel knows about the international demand and they are having huge capital and manpower. So that's for they are not interested to coordinate with India, because they are having their own plans to establish manufacturing hubs throughout the globe. So this is what they are very reluctant towards India. Did it mean we don't have any production base? No, guys. Actually, in the year of 1983, as given in the article, we established a SCL. Okay, so SCL, which means a semiconductor laboratory. It is locating in Mohali, but it didn't made any groundbreaking inventions. In the year of 1989, the major fire broke out. Then after the LPG 1991, the government relaxed the import norms and all. So due to the cheaper availability, Indian buyers, they started importing chips from foreign destinations. So the existing buyer base also eroded for the SCL. So here, guys, you should know one thing. Not all semiconductors what you are seeing are the same. Okay, there are various size and thickness are there. And you might have known in our childhood days, we would be seeing in the television, which is way larger than what we are using today, right? So in the beginning of the digital revolution, actually it had taken a room space for accommodating the single computer, but today we are keeping the entire computer system in our hand in the form of mobile. So that's how the technology have been upgrading year to year, because of the necessary innovations what we are carrying out in the semiconductor chip sector. So here actually in the article, the author have been discussing about the way forward. So the author have been advising to focus on the 180 nanometer node than on the 380 nanometer size chips. Here actually it had been given the 300 mm, it is not 300 mm, 300 nanometer. Okay, so this is a error. But here they have been telling that if we are creating the 180 nanometer node means we can't use it for advanced technologies. But anyway, we can use those nodes for e-vehicle production lines, then railway, then 5G power amplifiers, etc. and all. Okay, so with the focus on 180 nanometer node, we can also create our own variant of Intel, Bosch like companies in India. So this is what the author have been discussing here. Then he is also discussing that the government needs to offer subsidies to focus on products aimed at India specific markets, such as motor drives for BLDC fans, then e-bike chargers. Okay, here author insists that rather than spending 10 billion US dollar on single project, we can pound up the resource to escalate our indigenous production base. In the future, they will come up with novel innovations and inventions like author have been concluding. So this is all about the article. Now let us have a brief recap on India Semiconductor Mission. All these contents I had taken from the government website, PIB. So India Semiconductor Mission has been set up as a independent business division within the Digital India Corporation. Okay. ISM has all the administrative and financial powers, and it is tasked with the responsibility of catalyzing the India's semiconductor ecosystem in manufacturing, packaging, and in design. And ISM, they are also having an advisory board. It consisting of some of the leading global experts in the field of semiconductors. So it is serving as a nodal agency for efficient, coherent, smooth implementation of the program for the development of semiconductor and manufacturing ecosystem in India. So this is all about the Indian Semiconductor Mission. Now let us discuss about the objective of Indian Semiconductor Mission. The first one, formulate a comprehensive long-term strategy. So this is for developing a sustainable semiconductors and display manufacturing facilities in India. So for that, the government will be providing some incentives. Then the second one, facilitate the adoption of secure microelectronics. And then the third one is related to the India needs to enable a multifold growth by semiconductor design industry. And the last one, we need to facilitate the enlarged IP registration. Okay, so these are all the few objectives Indian Semiconductor Mission is having. For that, the government have been providing incentives, and actually they also providing credit for credit reimbursements and all. Okay, so under the Semiconductor Mission, so these are the few initiatives government have been taking. For that, they are keeping some 4 missions. Okay, the first one is related to the modified scheme for setting up of a semiconductor fabs in India. Here they will be providing the tax incentives. Okay, so actually the scheme extends a fiscal support of 50% of the project cost for setting up a silicon semiconductor fabrication in India. So government will be providing 50% capital. Under the second one, the modified scheme for setting up of display fabs in India. Here the government will be providing the same amount, some 50% in the form for erecting the display units, AMOLED. Okay, you might have known these are all the very advanced display what we are keeping today. So for enlarging the AMOLED, the government have been providing 50% project cost. And the third one, it is related to the compound semiconductors. Here also the government have been providing the 50% capital expenditure. The government will be provided to the manufacturers the 50% of the capital expenditure. So if you are starting any semiconductor unit means, then the government will be providing 50% of the capital cost. And this is the last one, Semicon India Future Design. It is a design linked initiative. Okay, so here the government will be providing some incentives to the manufacturers. So under this initiative, it is a design linked incentive. So for each and every designs, the government will be providing the various incentives, and the deployment linked incentives will be around 6% to 4%. And what the factor they are taking for providing these incentives means, they will be taking the sales turnover. So the sales turnover over the 5 years, and they are keeping a ceiling limit of 30 crore per application. Okay, so if we are making the application for incentive means, we should be keeping a 30 crore. So these are the few things they had envisioned under the Indian Semiconductor Mission. Now let us dive into the next topic. The government was swifter note for exporters. So government of India, they recently unveiled a new foreign trade policy that moves away from providing incentives to exporters. So under the previous FTP 2015 to 2020, the government have been providing 2 incentives: merchandise exports incentive scheme, MAIS, and SEIS. Okay, merchandise exports incentive scheme and service exports import scheme. So these are the 2 incentives government had provided under the FTP 2015 to 2020. But the foreign trade policy, it extended up to the March 2023. So from today onwards, the new FTP, it will come into enforcement. And actually in the new policy, it the government aims to triple the India's goods and service exports. Okay, right now it is in the range of 760 billion, but government is planning to escalate it to 2 trillion. So 2 trillion US dollar by 2030. So this is the target what they had envisioned under the new foreign trade policy. And no major schemes had been envisioned under the foreign trade policy 2023 to 2030. In this policy, the government came up with one-time amnesty obligations. Okay, so because with respect to exports and imports, lot of regulations are there. They will impose certain regulations. Here, defaulters with respect to exports will be given one-time amnesty because we are trying to propel the exports. Therefore, the government came up with one-time amnesty. And here they are telling that whatever you have done so far is okay, but be clean from now onwards. So this is what the FTP have been asking. The objective of India here is to triple the India's exports to 2 trillion by 2030. The how new trade policy differs, that we should know, right? Because compared to the FTP 2015, how the new trade policy is differing. Here in the new policy, rather than depending upon the incentives, here they are working through the tax remissions. So the greater trade facilitation it will happen, and they are incorporating the technology, automation, and the continuous process reengineering. Okay, these are the few things they are incorporating in this new policy through which they are making collaboration with exporters, states authorities and district authorities to focus on specific products what are available in the particular regions. So here they are incorporating both the state and the district authorities. So in the previous scheme, we don't have any such mechanisms. So DGFT was the nodal authority, but in these days they are incorporating the states and the district, and it is moving towards the cooperative federalism. Okay, so these are the few things you should know about the FTP, the recent FTP, and the highlights of the FTP. As we have seen, the Commerce and Industry Minister, okay, he only unveiled the 2023 foreign trade policy. So according to the FTP, the government, they are actually identified certain towns of export excellence. So these are the few towns, Faridabad, Moradabad, Mirzapur and Varanasi. Here they had given in the newspaper that they all the four towns, it is in Uttar Pradesh, but we know about the Faridabad. It is locating in Haryana, right? So I don't know whether it is Faizabad or Faridabad. Actually, even in the government article also, it is given that Faridabad. So we need to cross check further. Apart from that, the FTB benefits have been extended to e-commerce exports also in this new trade policy. Okay, so e-commerce exports, they are also carrying huge significance because which are estimated to grow to USD 200 to 300 billion by 2030. The value limit for exports through courier service increased from rupees 5 lakh to 10 lakh per consignment. So then the special advance authorization scheme also had been provided under the scheme, especially for the apparel and clothing sector. So here the government is making a special note by providing special advance authorization. So FTP 2023, it has no proper end date, okay, and it would be modified as per the need. So this is what the government have been stating. The last 5-year policy, it came into enforcement in the date of April 1, 2015. However, it was extended several times in the wake of coronavirus outbreak and subsequent disruptions in the economic activities globally. So the last extension, as I already told you, it was given in the September 2022, and it stated that it will be in enforcement till March 31st, 2023. So from today onwards, we will be having the new foreign trade policy. So the digitization of applications also will be carried out under the new FTP, and certain automatic mechanisms, especially with respect to the paperwork and all, they are doing some automatization. So the rapidity and agility of the system will be very high. Apart from that, dairy sector, you might have known, it is going to get exceptions from maintaining the average export obligations, and it is also applicable to the battery electrical vehicles, then vertical farming equipment, then green hydrogen. So these are all the few things which are taking a big note under the new foreign trade policy. Then the new foreign trade policy, it also seeks to make the Indian rupee a global currency and allow international trade settlement in the domestic currency. And as I already told you, it also introduces the amnesty for one-time settlement for the defaulters in export obligations under the EPCG authorization holders. Okay, so these are the few things which aims to streamline the export of dual-use items under the SCOMET policy. And here they had given that the new trade policy is going to focus on the merchanting trade. What is merchanting trade? Because here we are keeping lot of goods under the restricted goods in the import list. So here the Indian traders, they can import the goods from let us take example US. Okay, from US we can import the restricted good eggs, and they can do the re-import it to the Myanmar. Okay, so without doing any utilization or value addition in India, they can do a re-import to Myanmar. So this is what merchanting trade. So for the restricted goods, they are providing some opportunities, and in this way, the traders can benefit, and it will also propel the Indians' exports. So these are the few things the FTP had made a big strides in the trade segment. And this is the third one. Australia seeks diversified market for lithium exports. And guys, you must have known about the lithium. In our discussion itself, we had discussed about it n times. It is a soft silvery metal. It has been acting as a lifeline for e-vehicles and digital gadgets, etc. So in this context, Australia Minister of Trade and Tourism stated that they want to diversify the lithium exports to other countries, including India. Right now, China and US are their prime destinations for their lithium exports. So this is what they had given here. So kindly go through the article once. And the article is in the form of asking why Australia dispatching its lithium consignments mainly to US. Okay, for that, the Ministry of Trade and Tourism, he provided his answer. So lithium, it is a very, very important topic, guys. It is extremely critical element attaining huge significance than uranium. So, guys, China is scaling upper hand in lithium supply chain, and almost 70% of the batteries are coming from China only. Guys, apart from these stuffs, US recently passed on law. Okay, so it targets huge significance, Inflation Reduction Act. So under the act, I hope you would remember, this act was passed in the year of 2022. Anyway, let me provide some gist. Guys, US have been providing thrust to the industries who are working to tackle the climate change. Therefore, this act, it talked about the subsidies which are flowing to battery makers, green tech manufacturers like solar panel producers, then windmill producers. Okay, here subsidy around 350 billion US dollar will be spent by government. So lot of US friends itself made a statement against this act, including India. So guys, within IRA, which means Inflation Reduction Act, at least 40% of all the critical minerals. Okay, so if the US manufacturer, if he is procuring some critical mineral, means 40% of the critical mineral, it should be procured from either the US miners or refiners or from the US FTA partners. FTA partners, you might have known, Japan, Australia are the FTA partners of US. So the US manufacturers, they should procure the critical minerals up to 40% from these entities. So then only they can claim the subsidies, like that the Inflation Reduction Act have been stating. Here, you might have known, it is acting as a discriminatory policy against the principles of the free trade enshrined in the WTO Charter. Because guys, as per the international rule, each country, they need to equate other country products in par with its own products. Okay, so this is the principle behind the most favored nation, MFN, you might have known, most favored nation status. So each and every country, they should accede the status of most favored nation to every other countries. Okay, this is what WTO have been stating it to its partner countries. And with this note, let us discuss about the lithium production around the world, guys. Guys, enormous amount of reserves present in South America only. Therefore, the region fascinated called as lithium triangle. So this is the lithium triangle, and here there are several mines are there. Atacama, SQM, and Albemarle. So these are the few mines. And Cachori region of Chile, Orocobre, Ganfeng. Then these are the two important mines, guys. Then Rincon is locating in Argentina. Then Salinas Grandes is also locating in Argentina. Then Hombre Muerto, this was a recently invented mine. So gallium lithium have been presenting there. And Olaroz is also an important mine. Toyota have been operating there. So Hombre Muerto, Levant, Galaxy, then Popso. This is a company name, it is not an act. So these are the few companies have been operating there. So this is all about the lithium triangle. For lithium triangle, you can keep the acronym of ABC, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. Okay. So in the South Africa map, this is where the lithium triangle have been locating. And you might have known about the open cast mining with respect to J&K. We also find lithium reserves, and there we will be operating the mines with the help of open cast mining equipments. So there will be environmental degradations, and we will be discussing about all these impacts with respect to the open cast mining in our upcoming discussion. And these are all the reserves of the country. Bolivia is having a major reserve, so around 21 million tons it is having. Then Argentina is having major reserves, 20 million tons. With India is having almost some estimated, I think 5 million tons, I think. So we will be having a 5.7% of the global share. China is having 6.8 million tons, and India, as I told you, 5.9 million tons. So with 5.9 million tons, we will be having 5.7% of the global share. And the prime exports of lithium is China. Even though their resources are low, but they are exploiting their mines in a ruthless scale. So that's how the China is leading the lithium market. And these are the few basics you should know. Then now let us dive into the next article. Certain may be exempted from giving informations under the RTA Act, says Center. So, why in news? The Indian certain it may be soon exempt from the Right to Information Act because they are handling very sensitive informations. That's what the government it stated that it is going to lift the certain under the RTA Act and it will be keep the certain in the exemption list. And certain it was established in the year of 2004 as a functional organization of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Their major function is they need to collect and collate the informations from various domains, and they are acting as a forecast for threats, especially in the cyberspace. And they are also taking emergency measures if India's critical structure or critical infrastructure is affected by any malware or any virus means, then they will apply their own protocol and they will take back the system. And they are also issuing guidelines, advisories, and vulnerability to all the private entities and the individual citizens also. Okay, so these are the few functions they are doing, and they are operating under the MeitY, Ministry of Electronics, Information and Communication Technology, and they are acting as a nodal agency for responding to the computer security threats. Here you should know about the additional facts, especially the Budapest Convention. And with respect to the Budapest Convention, it is the first international treaty on cybercrime, guys. I think in the year of 2004 it came into enforcement. India is not a signatory to the Budapest Convention on cybercrime. So you can expect the question on Budapest Convention because it is a very hot topic. Then Cyber Surakshit Bharat Yojana, you might have known, it is a scheme and it was launched in the year of 2018 by MeitY, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology Ministry, associated with the National E-Governance Division. Okay, and here the private partnerships also accepted. So they are actually working on the awareness creations with respect to the cyber security, and they are also conducting workshops on best practices, and they are acting as an enabler for cyber security related tools. Then the next one, Cyber Swachhta Kendra, and this is a botnet cleaning system. Okay, so they are a center, they are working towards the elimination of botnets. So this is what the Cyber Swachhta Kendra have been doing. On Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, I4C, so it was established in the year of 2018. In 2018, Indian government had came up with several initiatives in the cyberspace. So this system it provides a comprehensive and coordinated protocols for tackling the threats. So it is actually functioning under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So it is not functioning under the MeitY, it is functioning under the Home Affairs. So these are the few things you should know. Then this is all about the RTA exempted organizations. You can expect the question from this area because each and every year the UPSC have been asking question like what are the crops we are procuring under the like that MSP. So like that they have been asking. So you can accept the question. You can expect the question from this area. These are the 22 agencies which are accepted from the RTI. You can see the Intelligence Bureau, DRI, then Central Economic Intelligence Bureau, the Narcotics, Aviation Research. These are the key and vital organizations in Indian security and economy aspects. So that's what RTI have been accepting these organizations under the provisions of the RTI. And here in the upcoming days, the certain also will be included. So with this note, let us dive into the last article of the day. UK to join Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Treaty. So on Friday, UK acceded to the comprehensive and progressive agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership Treaty. This is what it had been given. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he actually made a speech in the Commons. That's what the image they had given in the paper. So why in news? UK on Friday acceded to the comprehensive and progressive agreement on the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So TPP and CPTPP both are almost same. In the beginning, it was called as a TPP. It is a trade agreement among the 12 Pacific Rim countries. It was signed in the year of 2016. So the venue was Auckland, I think. In Auckland only, actually, the TPP was signed. It has not entered into force because the US made a withdrawal once Trump came into power. So the TPP, it reformed to CPTPP in the year of 2018. Now actually 11 countries are there. With UK, it is going to become a 12-member trade pact. Okay. So actually they are promoting economic growth and job creations and they are working on innovations. Okay. And all these countries, they are having considerable human development, so they are working towards raising their life standards, living standards of their citizens, and they are also working to reduce the global poverty. Okay, so significance, US had joined it, so it will be tough for China to enter, because if any new country, if it willing to enter means, then all the existing members, they should give their approval. So with the enter of UK, it will be tough for China to enter into the CPTPP. And you might have known, these are the member countries: Canada, Mexico, Peru, Chile, and Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Brunei, Vietnam, and Japan. Almost actually they are controlling the 40% of the production capacity of the world. Okay, so the 40% of the world's economy is controlling by these countries. So therefore it acquires huge significance. India is not a part of this pact. So guys, actually, as I already told you, UK had joined, so it will be tough for China to enter. So this is the major significance from the international trades perspective, because US and UK, they are acting in a single block, and with respect to CPTPP, US will achieve its ambitions through the entry of UK. So your UK, we can expect it will be acting as a extended power of the US. So that's it, friends. Now let us dive into the question part. This is the first question. With reference to India, consider the following statements. Monazite is a source of rare earth. And the second one, monazite contains thorium. Then the third one, monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India. Then in the fourth one, in India, government bodies only can process or export monazite. So these are the four statements they had given. It is a previous year question. And till the completion of prelims, we will be seeing the previous year questions alone. And here, the first statement is right. Monazite is one of the key rare earth minerals. Okay. So the first statement is right. And the second statement is also right. Three-stage nuclear power program. It is India have been considering the utilization of the monazite. So therefore, the question came up in the prelims. The second statement is also right. The third one, it is an extreme statement. Naturally, in the entire Indian coastal sands, like that they had given. No, it is not. So actually, they are occurring in the entire eastern coastal land. Then in the western part, till the mid of Karnataka, they in the Kerala and the mid of Karnataka, we are having monazite resources. So therefore, the third statement is wrong. The fourth one is right, because government bodies alone can process or export the monazite. So the answer option B is the right one for the question number 1. And this is the second one. With respect to this question, already we have seen, we had discussed multiple topics in our discussion. The first one, Global Ocean Commission, it grants license for seabed exploration and mining in international waters. So it is not a Global Ocean Commission, it is an International Seabed Authority, which have been operating under the UN Convention on the Law of Sea. So this is the first statement, which is wrong. Then the second one, India has received license for seabed mineral exploration in international waters. Yeah, this is right. In the central Indian water ocean basin, where India had acquired the seabed mineral exploration project. So ISA approved it. So the second statement is right. The third one is rare earth minerals are present on the seafloor in international waters. This is also true, because under the deep sea mission, we are having certain plans to utilize the rare earth minerals what we are finding in the deep sea. Okay, so therefore the third statement is right. So first option alone is wrong. 2 and 3 are right. Answer option B is the right one for the question number 2. So with this note, let us wind up this discussion, friends, and kindly revise the article what you are studying every day and make a note out of it. Let me catch you in another discussion. Thank you for your patience. Bye.